and go.
Good morning, everybody. Happy Thursday. Things are just looking like they're crashing right now, aren't they? So scary. What's going on with the SPY and the crypto and everything tracker? What's going on?
The crypto market went up 2.5% and then back 2.5% in 32 hours. That's or 34 hours. That's all I can say. It's not a big deal.
Yeah,
No, it was
yeah.
32 hours. It was
There's
like 32, 16,
there's
16 is
nothing
32.
scary. What's going on?
It just runs up, runs back down. It's just oscillating, as I would tell you. It's just oscillating. Just sit through it. You'll be fine.
Yeah, just sit through it. Yeah, so let's just take a look with the indices. So SPY, it did have an all-time high daily candle close yesterday, and just to give you an idea, things are still kind of extended here on this chart, right? There's nothing really telling that it's going to continue to break out, simply because it might have some catching up to do from these averages down here. We can even add on the moving averages down there, like even the 50-day moving average is way down there at 619. So just maybe needs a little bit more time for these averages to catch up to price before continuing higher, but still a very bullish chart, and I think it just needs a little bit more time. We can put the fib extension back up there just to show that it still hasn't touched that 648.98, so that could be the destination it might want to go before any kind of retrace, but it could retrace before it wants to break through that level as well. But either way, it's still a very bullish chart. Who knows what happened with the pre-market down $2? Who's scary? This is normal, right? You get some big explosions up, you get some retraces back down. QQQ, we can see that price is still trying to maintain this 578.46. It is a little bit below at pre-market, but I would like to see, if we're going to see continuation to the upside, still, I would like to see that hold day over day. So 578.46 is that target to stabilize above to get more bullish. IWM, it is looking like it might be coming back down for another back test of the 226 down here. So we're going to be watching that, right? 226.80. And what I care about the most for bullish continuation is stabilizing on top of that, because we have not been on top of that for a very long time. The last time we were there was basically January, February of earlier this year, and that was not really sustainable because the cloud was in the way as resistance, right? But now there is no cloud in the way as resistance. Everything below is support, so I'm watching 226.80 hold as support. We can take a look at Tesla too to see what it's doing pre-market, and it's just flat, kind of down $1. So there's really no change with Tesla, except it hit resistance yesterday. It hit the 347.58. And is it ready to just go back for another back test of the 321? I know a lot of people are screaming on X that, oh, it's going to crash again. Well, it's possible, yes, because it's inside the cloud above the conversion line. The conversion line is 323. So if it did want to do a back test of that zone, it's perfectly acceptable. It's fine. But regardless, this is a very healthy development on this chart, right? We got all the moving averages below it, the conversion line below it, the baseline below it, still inside the cloud. It just needs a little bit more time to break free of that cloud to get more bullish and break out above. So we're looking good here for Tesla, but it just might take a few more weeks or longer to actually break this big resistance zone. So any kind of retrace is acceptable. We can even look at the daily chart just to see that the 200-day moving average is right there at 325.88 as well. So there is some room to backtest levels now that the 347.58 has been reached. It did hit yesterday, so resistance has been hit. So we're going to be in a range until it's able to break out. And lastly here, let's just take a look at Bitcoin, BTC, and Bitcoin. We can see on my chart here that still no body of the candle is able to continue to accelerate to the upside. It tried really hard yesterday, but it's still just a wick, just like it was back in Monday on July 14th, right? Or maybe it was Monday, I don't know. But these are weekly candles, so we can see that it did already wick up there again and did it again. So we don't technically have the highest weekly candle close yet because the week is not over. So can it come back down and retest the 115 again? Of course it could, because it's still in the same range. So always be observant of where support is on the higher time frame, because at any moment it could just fake you out, create a wick, and then come back and retest support, just thinking it's all over, but it's just support until it's ready to continue higher. So with that, tracker.
All right. Well, it's no surprise. We've got some pullback in the market. If you just watch the VIX, right, which I've got here, we've had this long-standing trend line now since May. There's a support trend line, and we just almost didn't quite touch it yesterday, and then we're back up again. But we did hit this 138.2% Fibonacci extension down, and that was kind of resistance again. And it sent it back to the Ichimoku conversion line here. And that's where we're at on the 4-hour chart. 4-hour chart. I was trying to clean up my chart here. I had a bunch of yellow dots and stuff, but I think we can just do it with just these with just these two lines now. And buy question mark, sell question mark. You want to buy when the VIX is up really high, because that means that things have sold off pretty hard. And then you want to sell maybe, or at least take some profits when it starts to get towards this support line before it's going to do maybe another reversal. But we're definitely well within the greed zone here. In fact, it's crazy how much we back tested the entire greed zone just at the beginning of August. But now, then came right back down by August 13th here. So anyway, expect more oscillation. This price could catch here and then move down lower again. Or sorry, VIX could move down lower here. It could come up to the moving average 75 here at 1628 and then push back down lower again. Yeah, that's all I got to say about the VIX. Just keep an eye on it. You can feel free to copy my these numbers here on the right, 2209 for greed, 1471 for take profits line. And then what we want to see, and of course, playing with fire, extreme greed down here at 1057. In the past, I have to take you to like a weekly chart. In the past, extreme greed's only been crossed over, a few times. Like, so this would be like a 2017, 2018 melt up in the markets, and then back here in 2007, the last thing it did before the great financial crisis, right? Just before things got really, really bad, things looked really, really good. Anyway, but it's all temporary. Stonks only go up. Well, at least the indices do. All right. Do I have anything else to say about Tesla or anybody? No, I want to do this one. Let's, I'm just going to go right into it. I pulled up TeraWulf. Wulf mining is up 29% here in pre-market. And if you just look back here, the all-time high was 43.98. To go from where price is now is 516% to get back to that previous all-time high. So lots of gains here in WULF to be had still. But Matt's going to show you his angle support. Probably want to test back to, you have an opportunity to buy it back at about 651, I asked him before the show. Anyway, it's 35.9%, about 36% higher just to get to the 52-week high of $9.30. And you can clearly see the cup and handle formations going on here. So, yeah, it's looking good. Things haven't even started to get amazing yet. I mean, they're only starting to get amazing. Things have been amazing since 2023, and then again April 7th. But you get the deal. You guys have been in the market for a little bit here. All right, back to you, Matt.
Okay, let's take a look here. What do we got working with? So I see a couple of requests coming out for QS and ACHR. So here's the QS chart, and I do want to just focus on the 200-week moving average right there. So stay above it. It can get more bullish. If not, it might need a deeper retest. So that's 904. That's it. It's just range bound, 1102, 904. Let's see if it can stabilize above it. If so, it can continue the journey higher. If not, maybe a deeper retrace. So that'll be our line in the sand right there. And ACHR, there's really no update since the last time I talked about it. Range bound between these two fibs, 1103, 899. Nothing's really going to change until either one breaks. So if you want a bullish development, it's got to really stabilize on top of this 1103, and there's never been any stability above it. Every time it tries to break out above, the next weekly candles just completely negate any effort to do so. So right now we're on top of the arc, which is good, but it could keep on trickling down until it gets to the 899. So we're range bound until either level breaks. And
you can kind of see that Archer Aviation price and the 50-week moving average seem to have a collision course set at that fib just a little bit lower there, fib level.
Yeah. And let's go take a look at Robinhood as well. We can see that Hood is still fine, right? It's retesting the 1.618, the 110. The arc below is still possible to retest too. If you guys watched the weekly update on Friday or Saturday when I did it, I included Robinhood too. Sometimes I feel like I just do those for no reason at all. Nobody pays
A public
attention.
service. It's a public service, Matt.
Yeah,
You're just
I do
doing
it
your
for everybody. And I
duty.
talked about this arc being a possible back test, and that's 105. So still could go down there again to retest it if it needed to before continuing that journey higher. And lastly, let's just take a look at coin, because probably people are going to freak out on coin today. Oh, it's down to 321. And actually, pre-market, what did it go down to just now? It went down to 317 just now. So it had a nice little flush down. But ultimately, what I'm watching the most is still the 886, the 318.95, right? Who cares about the action in between stuff, right? What really matters is the 318.95. And if you put on the Ichimoku, what do we see that happened? Oh, it went up to retest the conversion line as resistance yesterday. So we're in the range, right? There's cautious at resistance, bullish at support. It's basically
It goes to
nice
conversion
support
line
zone.
after it hits the support, the baseline. So it's baseline resistance. Now it's caught between the two of them. It'll oscillate a little tighter and tighter and tighter till it picks a direction.
Yeah, there's nothing really scary about any of these charts. And whatever's happening to crypto right now, it's just liquidation. So it's fine, right? I think XRP just went down to like 306 just recently. But yeah, it's just liquidations. We can look at some of these cryptos too. Look at Ethereum. What do we see? Got pretty close to the previous all-time high. So, of course, some volatility is expected. Remember, cautious at resistance, more bullish at support, guys, right? And Dogecoin, we can see, yeah, it's still stabilized on top of the 50-week moving average. Nothing scary there. XRP still is also stabilizing just right around that 309.986. And actually, that wick that we just had just now, I think got us another back test of that 2.272 fib. So still showing stability. So this volatility is actually good for continuation higher. So it's nothing scary at all. Even Link right here still is above the cloud, above the 2111. Like, things are looking super healthy, guys. Would not be afraid of this volatility at all. All right, go ahead, tracker.
All right, I've got my QS chart here too. I like this one a lot. You can see that the market really saw a huge potential in it after its IPO. It saw its all-time high shortly, within like the same year as it IPO'd, and ever since then, it's just been like, it's testing lower and lower and lower. But you can see it did make this strong support zone before it did that last drop to the all-time low. Yeah, the 52-week low is also the all-time low here. And now it's made a new 52-week high, and then came right back to test this this pivot at I had these all the way in the right here, and to this quarter pivot. It's trying to make its way back to the 7 pivot. It wants to retest this level up here at 2123. So if you're just patient, it will eventually, finish making more and more handles for this cup. Or I guess you could say it's still the cup until you get to about here, then it starts to be handles, but it's going to look like handles. Anyway, I would look for this to go to 2123 next. It probably has already found support down here. Let's see, I wanted this thing right here. From where prices, price is 919. From here to the center pivot is 122% higher. So I've got QS. I like QS. That's all I'll say about that. Let's see, we did ACHR. Here's a request for CRISPR. I haven't looked at CRISPR in a couple of weeks. When Matt talks about it's just a liquidity grab, a lot of times they're forced liquidations, and who gets forced to liquidate are the people that they make these huge out of the money bets on margin, and then when they don't pan out, they get margin called. Don't be that person. We haven't talked about it in a while, but really, just stay away from margin. It's just the fastest way to for your brokerage to close you out and bankrupt you, or not bankrupt you, but take all your money and then some. Let's see. I'm trying to CRISPR therapeutics. So let me just do this. Turn you into my new form. There we go, and then yep. Oh, and then, but I used to do this backwards, upside down, so reverse this. All right, there we go. So anyway, CRISPR Therapeutics, we are at 58.10 right here. We just had a 52-week high in July. And yeah, it just look for it to get back up there. It feels like it looks really like I kind of want to move. Sometimes I push these fibs around. Anyway, it seems like it was trying to make this. This was the strongest support that it made right here. Anyway, 200 and let's see what price is now. Was 292 last time. Now it's 273, 273% higher to retest that all-time high of 220. So just have faith that it'll get there. It's going to take some time. That's all. I know Matt likes the Kathy Woods ETFs that include CRISPR. Let's see what else. Let me do Donald J. Trump here real quick. It's always fun to look at. DJT. Its all-time high was immediately after it was announced. And then it came all the way down to from $175 to $984. And on log scale, we're down here at 1769 still. Let me pull on a fib from here. No, I did it backwards again. Old habits are hard to break. You go. I'll just approximate it from here to here. And then turn on this one. All right, so now you can kind of see right here is where it tested the halfway point, what would become the halfway point, the center point. Runs back to the 886, but could not get a higher high. Runs all the way down until it gets the strongest support of the lower half around 1413. Kind of scoops its way through there. Does get over 30%. Back to the 702 is resistance. Sends it back down to retest this low. Can't go over the 618. The 618 is where you really want to flip to make it really go bullish, but as resistance, that sent it back down as well. So you can kind of see it's like in this triangle right here, right? So from here to here to here to here, it's just kind of the oscillation you're getting lower until it probably converges, around $24, and then hopefully it'll go up from there. But no telling. That's all I got to say from here. If we start to close up, get handles that go higher from where price is right now, 1771. If it can retest that center pivot one more time, that's 124% higher. If it ends up retesting the, let's just say the 125 again, that's 23% lower to 1413. I don't know. I almost be inclined to wait for that. Well, you can see it's probably not going to. At some point, it's going to break this lower support trend just to fake everyone out if it's going to go higher after that. So do look for maybe 1413 to the center point again. It would be 197% higher. That's all I got to say about DJT. I think I'm going to throw it back to you, Matt. Yeah, I am. Go ahead.
All right, let's take a look. What else we got here? Let's see. ELF. I think I just did ELF. There's really not much to update on ELF. Yeah. Every time I look at it, it's just stuck. So still same range, guys. 50-week moving average 102. All this resistance up here at 130. So it's range bound until it can find a direction to go. Either can break out above and go higher, or it's going to get rejected and come back down and retest levels again. So it could just be range bound inside the cloud for a while. So it's probably going to take some patience to get more bullish on this ELF chart. And let's see, IOTA here. I think that's a crypto, right? If that's what you're asking for.
I have no idea. IOTA.
Yeah.
I haven't an iota of what it is.
It's range bound too. It's really stuck between the conversion 1977 and all this 21, 22 cent resistance above. So it's got to break something to get more bullish. And so far it has failed to even break anything really. So start breaking above the 21, 22, 23 cent barrier, then we'll start talking about the 30s. But until then, let's just keep establishing a base on top of this 1981. And the last I'll do is that HYPD. I think you've done this one before. Yeah, I'm not going to do that one because it's not much data, but I'm just watching the 654. But yeah, if you have a tracker, I'll just switch it back to you.
Okay. Well, first off, I just want to show my ELF beauty chart, and you can see a pretty clear downtrend line that it just needs to get over it and flip it to from resistance to support to keep going higher. So just put this trend line on your own chart and then watch it very carefully. It's definitely teasing around it. It might spend some more time. Like pretend this is one of Matt's Gann charts, and this is a big arc, and it's just kind of like it's playing with the arc, and then once it gets over it, flips to support. that it can go higher. But lots of potential with ELF Beauty from where price is right now. If it were to break that line right now and go to its all-time high is 74% higher. And obviously, oh my gosh, April 7th was just like the best opportunity to buy anything. But none of us had any money, or, I didn't. Okay, Hyperion, HYPD, Hyperion DeFi, and they've got their own token, or not their own token, but they're based off the Hype token, I believe it is. Anyway, I'm watching for it to fill this gap back up. Like it had this huge gap down, and it's working on filling back up. This is my chart for my subscribers right here that I drew. Gosh, I think I drew this 2 days ago, maybe yesterday. Let's see, but I'm using this new. It's just trying to get back to the. I've got fib extensions. Let's see if I click on this. Yeah, it goes from this all-time low to this highest high, and then the higher low is the waves 1, 2, and then my linear scale. This is a log scale chart, but the linear scale Fibonacci extensions are Dopplering their way towards the center pivot here at the 50% mark. I kind of removed all the Doppler stuff, so it's easier to read. But trust me, it's trying to reach the center pivot point. So we're from where price is now, where are we? 692 to that center pivot point is 489% higher. So I'm very excited about HYPD. I've got a bunch of it. I even tried to do, Matt. I can't remember if it was Matt showed me or I showed Matt, but once upon a time we discovered these. Fib channel projections together, and when we started using it, like, oh yeah, this is kind of like the Gann charts. But I've got these Fibonacci extension or these parallel fib channels that might help me predict timing. So that's why I'm trying to like piece out maybe 90. Now would be 91 days if I drew this yesterday. Yeah, 91 days to get to the center pivot. So that'd be a huge move. I think HYPD is like in my top 10 on my spreadsheet of things that could go higher faster. So there you go, HYPD. I like it, and I've got a bunch of it. Let's see, I can do. I hate, and then GM is good morning. It's not the stock gentleman. UMAC. Let's do a UMAC. I should probably just pull some over here. I like the unusual machines. It's got an unusual name as well. Let's see. The all-time high is way up there. Oh no! The all-time high is the 52-week high, so they're covering each other. They're covering each other up. Hey, stop that. All right, unusual machines. Why don't I don't have? Oh, because it's not on Grok. It's on. I'm trying to shorten the number of tabs I've got. Let's try this one here. The number of tabs I've got open, I should say. That's not it either. UMAC. I'm looking for the one where I've already drawn. Here it is. All right. UMAC this is log scale. I'm going to go back to linear scale because I drew this in linear scale. But yeah, it's just, here's the Ichimoku cloud on the weekly chart. It wants to get back on top of this. It's probably, instead of being resistance the whole time, we'd like to see it become support and move up higher. It did make a lower wave 2 than I was planning on. I thought it'd go 382, 236. It went almost, well, no, it did do 382, but then it came down to halfway between the 11.4 and the 236 here. Sorry, this stuff is in the way here. But, and now it's on its way back up again. So I would say, my expectation of UMAC is that is going to go, I think I've already got this drawn, 233% higher from where price is right now. It's this one right here. I'll just repeating my work here. Stop, go away. Clicking the wrong things. So yeah, and then this breakout battleground between the 886 and the 702 on linear scale. Let's look at it on log scale. Change you. Let's just do this one. Right? Oh gosh. Oh no, it's upside down. You are upside down because when I did you the old way. Yeah, look, see it. You look at it this way. It's already, after hitting its all-time low, it went up to the all-time high and then came back down to the center point, or just a little bit below the center point, because the first time it runs down, it'll run comes in a little too hot for the landing, but it did establish the center point as a support again. So that's a very bullish development. Just look forward to, here's the weakest resistance of the upper part. It probably doesn't need to go to the strongest support again to the 618. It'll probably at least go to the 886. Look for the 886 next, 1758. And then that's where it starts to get into this breakout battleground I showed you on the linear scale of retracements. Okay, back to you, Matt.
Yes, sir. Let's take a look here. What are we working with? AMD? Sure, why not? Let's go here. AMD, so we're breaking out, right? It went to the previous highs over here, and we can actually see that it did not really go anywhere above this July 2024 high. It went to like match it equally, which is resistance. So yeah, again, cautious at resistance, guys. Will be more bullish at support. So I think whatever this PPI nonsense is, it's just a lot of things were at resistance zones or hit resistance zones, including Tesla, including Coin, including AMD, right? They hit resistance zones. So this is understandable to have a little bit of a sell-off. And NVIDIA as well, we can see that it is still trying to hold support. So this one is actually a little bit different, right? It's still maintaining that 178.80. And even pre-market, it's not even that big of a deal. So let's keep watching that 178.80 as a potential support. And then we can probably continue the journey higher. I already did Ethereum first thing in the morning. So you can go back and check that one. But what we can do is maybe check on... Yeah, let's look at Galaxy, GLXY.
Yeah, Galaxy.
And Galaxy, wow, it's still right by the 886, even pre-market. It's just a little bit below. So let's just keep watching that 2777 as a potential support. Even the conversion line is right there at 2528 as well. So nothing is broken on this chart either. Everything is healthy and normal. So let's just keep on looking at this. And I do see what's my honest opinion on miners. Well, my honest opinion was the same as yesterday. I think you asked the same question yesterday, Evan. That they're all at support, right? Look at Mara. Baseline. It's hovering right around that baseline. It's around support right now. CLSK, it's basically around this week's low, last week's low, and the baseline's up there too. So it's hovering around there. It doesn't need to go to the 874 weekly moving average. Not necessary, really, because it already spent a lot of time down there. I think this zone, maybe a little bit lower today, it's possible, but I think this zone has potential to hold. Riot, it's at support, the 1131, right? That's the 50%. Then you got the top of the cloud down here at 1112, so it's at support, right? We can look at iron. Iron hit resistance, so this one's understandable to sell off, right? It can't break above the 1935, so support could be in the 15 still, right? Still could be down there. And BTBT, what do you know? It's hovering right around the 618, the 308, even pre-market. So my honest opinion is bullish at support. Tracker, back to you.
All right, I've got ASML in the short term. You don't have to. If you look at ASML in the long term, this has definitely been in a lifetime uptrend. There's no doubt about it. So they probably want to know. The person asking probably wants to know about the short term. Here's the 52-week low that we hit on April 7th. I'm sure. Yep, April 7th, from the all-time high that it had in July of 2024. And it's just trying to get back there, right? So I just was peeking at the Ichimoku clouds. These are 16-hour candlesticks. That's about as short term as I like to go these days. And you can see how my moving average 300 and the moving average 35 have a date with destiny right here about $762.80. Whoops, and I'm going to turn back off. And you can see after all-time high, all-time. I just ran these from the 52-week. This is during regular trading hours, and in pre-market or after hours, it hit that low. So from the all-time high, from the all-time high to the 52-week low, it's already at 50. The halfway point was resistance after it came down here. Resistance. It did get over it shortly. Had to test back to this sort of this quarter zone, and I think it wants to get back to over 30%. And now this time, I think it'll stick. So from 795. The strongest resistance of the upper half is 886, obviously. So if you just wait long enough, it will go to 1030 again. If you're trying to figure out what it's going to do, like I said, in the meantime, it is headed higher to, like what I said, 770. Anyway, BMR is throwing me alerts here. Yeah. Let's see. I'll bet this is going to be boring to me. From where price is now at 746. Oh, come on. I clicked you. I swear I clicked you. Yeah, it's like 15% higher. To get to the 886 is 36% higher. So, if you've had this one, just keep on hanging on. I expect it's going more up than down from here right now. All right, and then I wanted to do. I'll do. Let's see what is going on with BMNR, because it's honking at some of my alerts here. All right, BMNR. I'm expecting. So you can see here from this all-time low to the all-time high, it already found support at the center pivot. So now we're just all this action it's doing now is in the bullish half of this, the upper half, the resistance testing half. And what did it do? Oh, it went back down. It went below. It's just about to touch the 702, 5633. I expect that'll be support. And so I guess what we got here was, maybe I'll modify this. It got here and there. And so now it's going to kind of do that. Or, it's already done it basically. It's just got to touch 5633 and then go back up again. If it goes deeper, it might go to like the halfway. No, yeah, I like you better. Imagine an 886 between the 618 and the 702 is right about here. If it has to go lower and wants to scare people and get liquidity grabs and stuff, forced liquidations, that would be a great place for it to go. And it would sort of line up with this right here, this wick right there. All right, and then, but eventually it should go to the 786 and the 889 or 886 and then on higher and higher. For our prices now, there's an opportunity to buy more BMNR. And then to the 786 is 95% higher. Back to the all-time highs, 189% higher. And then one day to the 1272, that is 362% higher. I'm not even talking about the 141 or the 1618, which are like up here, but let's just say the larger degree, 114, is 323% higher. That's where it starts to, it's the first resistance for the next level. This 114 becomes the next level's 11116, or I'm calling it the quarter, the quarter of a quarter, 125 here. I guess it's a 1/8. All right, there you go. That's BMNR. I'm going to throw it back to Matt. Maybe I'll come back with ONDS.
Yeah, I think I'll just do one more, and that's it for me. Let's see. Oust. Yeah, we can take a look at Oust, and then that'll be it. And then I'll let you finish it off, Tracker. So yeah, Oust, it's breaking above some levels here. I do have this black line drawn from the previous support, basically back in 2022. So it broke above it, right? And if it can stay above it and build a base on top of that zone, then it can regain that support zone and maybe head to the 3830 up top and get a lot more bullish. So yeah, it's been just a very explosive stock, and it did a breakout back test of the 50% fib and the continuation higher. So now let's just stay above $30. If so, it can continue the journey much higher. All right, Tracker, finish it off.
All right, I've got ONDS, and I'm just redrawing from strats here because I didn't have it on the Grok chart, but its all-time high was 1950, and an all-time low was 31. You could have bought this for 31 cents, and now it's 10 times that, about $3.52 here in pre-market. It has made a new 52-week high, or it was back here. It kind of got over here. So here we go. The 618, which is going to be the strongest support of the upper half, is still resistance. I don't know if it's got to touch the center pivot point one more time. It's entirely possible that it could go back to 248, touch that, and then go higher. Or let's get closer. Let's look at a 4-hour chart. Sometimes you get a sense of if the pointy parts are pointing up or if they're pointing more down. It looks like they're pointing more up, so it looks like it's more bull flagging than anything else. So I'm suspicious. I would suspect that it actually does want to just keep going higher. So look for the next resistance at 570, then then $8.06, and then 12.18 will fail the first time that tries to get there. So I could just summarize everything I just talked about in one of these and say it could do that, or it could have already done that like this, right? So just just take a screenshot of this if you want, and look for all these pivots to be resistance the first time, and then flip it to support to move on to the next level higher. And what you actually might get is something that looks like this, and then this as it tries to go. Before it can reclaim each level, it's got to retest the maybe the 886 of the previous, the sub 886 of the previous level, right? Again, if you just imagine between the 702 and the 786, there's, another set of fibs, and the 886 is like right about here. And so it backtests the 886 before it can move higher. It is all very, very much fractal. All right. And then I'll leave you with that thought. And yeah, it's Thursday. Close your if you've got options expiring tomorrow. I recommend that you should have already gotten out yesterday, hopefully. But if you see something great happen today, then close those options, get your profit, because tomorrow they're going to run it right into the center and thread the needle to max pain for make sure all the other options that are still open will expire worthless or as much as they can. All right, that's it. We'll see you back here tomorrow morning.
Yeah. All right, guys. Take it easy.
Thanks, Matt.
Bye.